Hello everyone. Hope you're all doing well. Now we're live with today's session of the world's biggest to-do list. My name is Clara Halvorsen, and I'm live here from Copenhagen, Denmark. And today we're going to talk about this one: global goal number 9: industry, innovation, and infrastructure. And it seems like I hope now it's better. Now you can see me again. We're going to talk about this one: industry, innovation, and infrastructure. And this goal is maybe something you haven't heard that much about. And I think it's maybe because it can be a little bit difficult to relate, or a little bit difficult to figure out why this goal is actually what it's about, and why it is important. But it is important because all in all, this goal, I'm just going to put it up here, is about getting our societies to run around in a smarter way. It's about the roads, the railways, the harbors that makes us able to trade with the whole world instead of just trading within our countries or within our local areas. And it's about finding new ways of working more sustainable in factories and the companies all around the world, and use our resources more efficient and more sustainable. And one of the important things about this goal is that it's also about making sure that the least developed countries are being industrialized. That will mean it means basically that the industry should make a bigger part of the country's economy all in all, or in total, in comparison to agriculture and to mining, that is still a quite huge working or employment area in many countries. The benefit of this is that with industries, the companies can create more local workspaces, and we can keep a more a big amount of the products that's produced within the countries, and treating them within the countries instead of selling the what you can call it, some of the parts, selling the first products directly out. You can actually you can keep more or create more workforces within the countries, and you can also you can create more work, or get more employees, get more workspaces for people, get more people into work. But you can actually also do the first treatment of products within your own country. But then economy is not only about industry. It's not only about projects. One thing that's also important, and something that a lot of countries, or not countries, a lot of companies is actually working with, is information and knowledge. That has become a quite big work area, and this goal is also about that, because information and knowledge, and especially the internet, have been an important area in the times that we're living in now, and in the going to modern age, or for the last decades, and where the development and of not the development, but the distribution of access to telephones and to the internet was quite slow in some countries earlier, because cables had to be drawn. Now modern technology have allowed us to actually increase the access to communication, which this goal is also about. And it's quite important. 95% of the world's population is now living in areas with mobile coverage, and even smallest village actually have the possibility of being covered by the mobile phone networks. but this coverage, and I think this is important to highlight as well, is right now only covering the most basics out of the 3.4 billion people that lives in land areas or in or more far away areas. It's only about a third that has coverage with what you can call simple mobile internet, 3G, and even in these areas, a lot of people cannot afford to go online, and that is this goal. It's also about, and it's actually this year, 2020. This goal says that all people should have access to internet to an affordable price. And just to put a note on the thing with internet, because I think if you live in some parts of the world, especially me in Denmark, we have a quite well internet connection. Almost always, as you saw, some of my sessions didn't work or didn't go online, but you can take it for granted. But the access to information, the access to internet is equal to the access to information, to knowledge, and that's why it's key that all of us all around the world gain access to internet and get access to the knowledge and to the informations that are out there. Then looking into the targets of goal number 9, then the first goal, first target 9.1, that was 9.1, is about developing a sustainable, resilient, and inclusive infrastructures. So to make sure that we have a better infrastructure all around the world, but that these infrastructures are also created in a sustainable way. Then target 9.2 is about promoting inclusive and sustainable industrialization. I think this is important to note. I talked about industrialization before, but this target also states that this has to be done in a sustainable way and in an inclusive way as well. Then target 9.3 is about increasing the access to financial service and the access to markets. And target 9.4 is about upgrading all industries and infrastructures for sustainability. And I think this is key, and I think this is one of the beautiful things with all of the global goals, that sustainability is such an integrated part of all of the goals. Also in this goal, of course, we need industries, we need infrastructures, but we need to make sure that these are developed in a sustainable way, and with this target also upgraded in a sustainable way. Then looking into target 9.5, it's about enhance research and upgrade the industrial technologies. Then of course, with this goal, like with all other goals, there are some measures to be taken under this goal as well. And measure 9A is about facilitate sustainable infrastructure development for developing countries. That was what I talked about earlier as well, that we need to make sustainable infrastructure all around the world, and especially in developing countries where infrastructure is not yet such developed as in other places of the world. Then target 9B is about the support domestic technology development and industrial diversification, and measure 9C, target 9C, is about universal access to information and communication technology. That was what I also mentioned before. It is the access to internet for all of us in 2020. And then like all other sessions, I brought some news from all around the world on how we're actually doing with this goal. And the first one is news from Paris in France. And here the number of trips taken on bikes have increased by 44%. And this is a result of a series of political decisions made to upgrade infrastructure for bikes, including building a 300-kilometer cycle path. And why did I bring this news? And I brought this because I think it's an example of how we also have to think infrastructure in a more sustainable way, that infrastructure and upgrading infrastructure in a sustainable way is also upgrading the facilities for more sustainable ways of transportation, for instance, biking. Then I brought another news about drones who are delivering vaccines to isolated villages, with invention of new technology, which this goal is also about. Suddenly we have gotten all new infrastructural possibilities, and during the last decade, drone technology have become both better and cheaper, and this means the drones have actually become more accessible and a tool to tackle things that have previously been very costly. And one of the things is that with drones it's now possible to bring life-saving medicine to isolated villages in areas with bad infrastructures that could only be accessed in helicopters before. For instance, in Vantau, which is an island kingdom in the Pacific Ocean, drones were in December 2019 for the first time used to deliver vaccines against hepatitis and tuberculosis. And I think this is actually a strong example, and the reason why I brought this, of both how innovation is important, how industry is important, how infrastructure is important, that suddenly new technology or new developments within the area of technology have made it possible for new forms of infrastructure and for actually accessing areas that has been or still is very badly connected with traditional infrastructure. Then I brought a last short news about Danish company. It's called Bluetown, who collaborates with the USAID in Mozambique, and they're building Wi-Fi networks in poor areas. So what they do in order to make sure it's sustainable, not just building it, is that they hire local women in the village to maintain the network and distribute it among the population by selling Wi-Fi subscriptions. So this news is actually closely connected with the aim of getting all of us on the internet within this year. And then the team of today, and I don't have my ball here, I'm not in the office. As you can see, we're still, like most of you, I guess, not fully back. Denmark is not fully open, so I'm only at the office every second day. The other days I'm here at home. But if I had the ball, I would use it to illustrate today's team. And today's team is Team Smart Woman. And I looked through all of the teams that have been playing in the Global Goals World Cup, and actually there's not many teams who've been playing for this important goal. So just a small challenge, or first challenge for me here, is that when you are, and when the Global Goals World Cup is up and running again, then set a team and play for this one, play for the access to internet, for infrastructure, and for us innovating new solutions. But one team that has been playing is Team Smart Woman, and I think they played in Prague. And what they did is that they're a team from the Ministry of Industry and Trade, and they have put together this team and a campaign that strives for changes in the mindset in the population, and at the same time informing about the benefits of alternative means of transportations and innovation in this area. And I think this team is a good example of how you can play for this goal, both that the ministry has actually put this as an important agenda and put the sustainable infrastructure and the sustainable innovation as a focus area, and then have put down a team who's not just playing for this goal, but is actually working hard to inform the population about the possibilities of alternatives and more sustainable ways of transportation. So that was today's team, and I hope that maybe at the next year's Global Goals Cups there will be more teams playing for this important goal. But that was the first challenge only. Of course, I also brought some other challenges here at today's biggest to-do list. So what could you do out there for helping us reach this goal? Well, first of all, This goal is also about innovation. It's about inventing something. So go, if you have a good idea, invent something for a better world, or join one of the many hackathons that's actually getting more and more, what can you say, more and more, I forgot the word, popularity. We see more and more online hackathons due to these times. So join one of them and help develop new ideas for a better future. And then use better energy. Use solar panels if possible. See if you can change your energy source to more sustainable ways. We also discussed that in session 7. And then maybe you could reduce your water footprint. Maybe you can collect rainwater at home. That's also both a way to do new innovation. And then you should support the development of green infrastructure and use public transportation and use your bike more often. Use as Team Smart Woman. Use more sustainable and more alternative ways of infrastructure, because this goal, it's about industry, it's about innovation, and it's about infrastructure. But all of these things have to be done in a sustainable way. So I think that was the last word from me this week. I'll be back next week, Tuesday and Wednesday at 1 p.m. Danish time, and there we will cover goal number 10 and goal number 11. So hope to see you there, and have a nice day. Bye.